Hey guys, what is up? I am TitoTheOG and I'm here with another Sonic Movie 3 action figure unboxing set. Now, here in front of me I have the Action Pack 4 Figuras. I read that in the complete wrong order. The Action 4 Pack set. Now, this thing looks awesome and we have 4 completely new figures in this pack. We have Sonic that lights up, Shadow that lights up, Angry Tails, and an actual 5-inch Knuckles. Now at this point we already know we're getting an individual release Knuckles in Wave 2, but I just wanted to get my hands on him early, as well as the Angry Tails, because he is slightly different in this pack specifically. Whereas the original Wave 1 release, he's just regular Happy Tails. I kinda like the angrier look, but I'll get more into that when I unbox him. This packaging is amazing. I love the backdrop where it kind of looks like the lab where Shadow gets released. I don't know, it's kind of hard to tell. Oh no, it looks like a cityscape, like Tokyo, where they all fight each other. It looks really cool, just the lighting effects and everything. And you know, we have the Shadow render, we have the renders of all the other characters. Let's turn it around. Here on the side we have another Shadow render. The box is just so massive, it's hard to fit everything on screen. But turning it to the back, we see pictures of each of the characters and the light up effects with electricity. I really like this box. Like, it looks so cool. It's kind of a shame that I'm gonna rip these guys out of the box. I'll preserve it as much as I can. But here it says Sonic and Shadow light up. We see pictures of them lighting up. Turn to the other side, we have Sonic's render from movie 2. And that's all there really is to it. Oh yeah, another thing I wanted to mention. Or first, let me just show off the Try Me effect. Let's turn the lights off. So we're gonna turn on Shadow. It's kind of hard to see him in the camera. There he is. And let's turn on Sonic. Sonic lights up a lot more than Shadow does. I don't know if it's just my set or if they're all like that, but man, they look awesome. Especially their eyes. Their eyes look really cool. I can't wait to get some awesome pictures for this video. Alright, so one thing I wanted to mention is when I first got them in, I was pressing the try me buttons and nothing was happening, and I was so scared. I was like, are these guys, like, did I get defective ones? Are the batteries dead? And then I was reading online that other people were having the same issue. Like, I was pressing the buttons on their chests and nothing was happening, but then I flipped it around and there was a little tab in this slot right here that said pull me, and it was one of those when you pull it, then it activates the effects, and it was taped down so you couldn't really see it. But I know, like, in stores they'll have them taped down, but once you pull those tabs out, you'll be able to press the buttons and they'll work like normal. So for those who are wondering why theirs aren't lighting up, you might want to try that in box. At least when you take them out of the box, you won't have that issue. But let's go ahead and rip these guys out. There we go. Wow, even like the packaging inside has like branding and stuff. They went all out for this 4-pack. It's really cool. Alright, here we go. Whoa. This looks awesome. And then here's, of course, the little instruction manual on how to use these guys. And they got some pretty cool, like, drawings of the figures, just to show how they work and the batteries they use and stuff like that. But I don't really care for all that. Here is the pack right there, man. They look great. Again, this little background that they have, it looks really, really good. And there's a lot of packaging going into this. Honestly, they did a really good job with this pack. It reminds me of like old toy sets when they'd have these really cool boxes. I really like what they're doing here, and I hope to see this in future sets, even the mainline set, not just movie stuff. But it looks like I'm gonna have a real fun time taking these guys out. So alright, there they all are out of box, and man, they are awesome. Shadow is practically identical to his individual release, but Sonic and Shadow, you know, since they have these lighting effects, they do suffer some sort of like hindrance from their articulation compared to the Wave 1 release, is that Sonic and Shadow are both missing their butterfly joints. I'm assuming mainly so that way there's more room for the electronics in their torso to connect to their head, and they also can't, you know, they're not able to look up and down. Their head only swivels side to side, and only so much. I don't think they could do a full 360. Let me see. No, they can't. and that's only because of the electronics running from the torso to the head. It's not a big of an issue for me, at least. I don't really go around, twisting and turning all these parts on their body, just because I only just have them displayed one way, and that's really it. And you can see here on Shadow also, he doesn't have his butterfly joints, and his head only turns about that much. So there's not much range to him, but as mentioned, it's not a big issue. The only issue I really have with Shadow is you don't really see his lights. Like, let me turn it off. Like, there you see it because the light's off, but when I put him next to Sonic, look at that. Sonic's are lit. His head is literally glowing through. And Shadow, you barely see it. You can't even see it on camera what's glowing right here in the side of his quills, or even in the back. Let's see. You can kind of see it there in the back. But Sonic's is ridiculously bright. Nonetheless, it still looks very cool. Now, let's actually move it to the one character that is new this pack, Knuckles. So Knuckles is actually a very cool figure. He looks awesome, and I really like how they made him. Like, he is a towering beast compared to like Sonic and Shadow. Like, next to Sonic, dude, this guy means business. He don't chuckle. And all the details on him are amazing. The only issue I have is you can kind of see how flimsy and loose his arm is out of box. The other arm doesn't really have that issue. It's mainly just his right arm. Like, it feels very frail. I don't know if anyone else's is like that, but I'm kind of scared. Like, I feel like it's just gonna pop off at any second. But his range of motion isn't really all that much, just because his big ol' dreadlocks get in the way. But dude, the details like on his shoes, the metallic paint on his Lego bricks, they just look at his soles of his shoes. He looks great. And I'm excited to actually have him next to the rest of the squad, just so that way I could have a full Team Sonic. He also does have very slight butterfly joints. I don't know if you guys can see them in his arms. They don't allow for much motion, but they're there. One thing I did want to talk about is how weirdly they did his eyes. Let me see if you guys can see it here. They kind of made it like a mirror effect, so his eye like reflects up here and it goes into like a different angle, which is very weird. I don't know why they're having these troubles with their eyes. Like Wave 1 Sonic, his eyes extend into his brows, so that way it doesn't have like a cutoff like how Wave 1 Shadow does. Wave 1 Shadow has that hard cutoff right there under his eyebrows, and it's kind of blaring in my opinion. And Knuckles, they just did this weird mirror effect, and it looks kind of awkward. I'm not too fond of it. And it looks like this effect is still present in the Wave 2 figure. Going off of like the prototype images, maybe they'll change it before release. I'm hoping so, just because I feel like they did Sonic so perfectly. Why can't they just replicate that effect? But I mean, only time will tell when Wave 2 releases. Getting into the next figure here, we have Angry Tails, and I really like this version of Tails. I was originally going to pass on the Wave 1 Tails, just because I didn't really like how his facial expression looked, but I managed to get my hand on him, so I'll compare him. Now, here is the 4-pack Tails next to Wave 1 Tails, and of course the main difference are his angry eyes. It's a much better expression in my opinion. And there's another difference with this figure, the angry one, that I noticed is the soul color. His soles are black and his soles are like a light gray, which it's very similar, or at least the black soles are more film accurate, considering the film uses like a very dark gray. So it's still not exactly accurate, but I feel like it looks better compared to the light gray soles. Other than that, these figures are engineered the exact same. They have the posable tails, the individual posable tails, which is great. I love that. And just a different facial expression. I also realized that Tails does have butterfly joints. I'm sure you guys all know this, but it's new to me since I just got my hands on this figure. And it's all thanks to my friend Gio. He actually was kind enough to send me this Tails figure along with the movie Shadow poster. So Without him, I probably wouldn't be comparing these two right now. Now comparing Wave 1 Sonic to the new Glow release Sonic. And there are some differences between these two. As mentioned earlier about the different articulation, he's missing the butterfly joints that this guy has, and he's missing the neck joint. But aside from that, I feel like the articulation, or like the joints on this new 4-pack release, they're very loose. Like, I don't know if it's good or bad, but all of the parts are very easy to turn and even look more fragile. Like, look at his thigh joint right here, it's kind of splitting right there. Whereas the Wave 1 figures, I never really had that issue. If anything, like, they feel nice and firm on the Wave 1 Sonic. So I really don't know what's going on there. Like, the knee joint on Wave 1 Sonic, it feels solid, it feels good. And on this one, it feels very loose. And same for the shoe joint, like it just kind of moves very effortlessly. Whereas here, it takes a little bit of like pressure, which I kind of like that pressure because it lets me know that these are staying in that pose. So I don't have to worry about them falling or anything. I don't know if that's just an issue with mine or if they're all like that. Let me know down in the comment section below. Another thing I wanted to talk about though between the Wave 1 Sonic and the second release is the face. Of course, they're making different facial expressions, and it looks like this guy was probably in production before, because this guy, just because he's using the Sonic 2 face model. This looks very similar to the movie 2 Sonic face. Not that it's a bad thing, I'm just saying that I'm surprised they didn't go with the updated one, because it looks like they were going to, because he has these translucent like spots in his fur that's made with like translucent plastic, as if like this was going to be the one they used and maybe they swapped it. I really don't know, but they opted for the Sonic 2 figure. I personally think this face looks better than this one, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to be using this guy as their like main posable Sonic just for that face. Now here is Wave 1 Shadow next to the new 4-pack Shadow. Now there are some differences on this guy, and you know, the same articulation things, no butterfly joints, no torso swivel, no neck joint, of course, but also like some of the details. It looks like the way they did Shadow's like light up portions are different from the way that they did Sonic's, which is interesting. That might be why they're not as bright, because if you look, the little plastic parts that Shadow's lights up through, it's painted red over it. Whereas Sonic's are not. They're just like a weird blue, so they look kind of gross. They look like holes in his hair, which is very weird. But since Shadows are painted over red, I feel like it doesn't come out as well. But in the black areas, you see it more. So it's weird. I just noticed it, that they painted over it. I wonder why they didn't paint over it with Sonic. I felt like that might have given like a cleaner look on the quills. But I don't know. And then also the big issue are his eyes. Everyone knows Wave 1 Shadow has that cutoff there, but this release doesn't have it, and it looks much better. There's no hard cutoff, so from the side, he looks good. And I wish they would have did this with the Knuckles figure, because instead of giving him that weird, you know, mirror effect. And oh wait, his ears are different too. Look at the way his ears are modeled. They're deep as they go, super deep on this figure. What the? That is weird. They're very sharp and deep, whereas this ones are very shallow. That's a very interesting detail. Everything else on him looks to be about the same. Now there's one more thing I'm sure you guys are going to want to see, and that's how the 4-pack Shadow looks on this awesome motorcycle that I made a video on a few weeks ago. There he is. This guy looks awesome. Again, I'll have the link for this motorcycle down in the description below. I'm going to say this now. This is not like a partnership or anything. I don't mean to glaze it so much. I just think it looks so cool. I feel like this is a must for anyone's Sonic 3 movie collection. But that is all, guys, for this unboxing video of this 4-pack with the light up effects. And honestly, I think it's an amazing 4-pack. It's very pricey, I know. 55 bucks is it's a lot, but you get 4 awesome figures. And if you think about it, it's like they're originally $15 each. 15 times 4, you know, it kind of adds up. And 2 of them have some awesome lighting effects. So I think it's pretty worth it. And since they're Target exclusive, Target will always have like deals on some stuff, so you could always get them at a decent price. I, for myself, got them for about $40-something because they had like a few coupons on their app. So just check the app, guys. You guys can get a pretty decent price for these guys. I'm also forgetting one more character. Hold on. Everybody's favorite Grinch. Let me just get him there in the picture. He is very tiny, but there he is. There is our lineup of Sonic 3 figures, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think about this 4-pack and what you guys would like to see if they were to make a second 4-pack. Imagine if they did like glowing, like light up Super Sonic and Super Shadow figures. That would be pretty cool, honestly. I would probably buy that. But thank you guys so much for watching. I am TitoTheOG, and I will see you guys next time.